From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
It's a big afternoon of Sunday Afternoons Lalate, with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll be going over that monthly stimulus check that heads to a vote starting next week. Recon voting is starting next week. We'll be going over the breaking news from the White House, the breaking news from Jalapal, and the breaking news from the Progressives, and the exciting details of how much they want to give you in this fourth stimulus check. Then we turn to fifth stimulus, which heats up, and it gets a big new lift because of concerns and thoughts that inflation's going much higher. That signals your benefits will go potentially through the roof. Wow, this is wonderful news. You're going to hear for the first time on Afternoons LA today. Then we cut to the thousands of dollars across the board, and we go over how it's important to stay focused on next week because there's a lot of legislative efforts on board next week. And I'm going to show you why fourth stimulus remains number one. It's a big afternoon. Let's get to the incredible details, starting right here, starting right now on Afternoons Lalate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? It's a Sunday afternoon, and I hope you're doing well. I know there's a heat wave across much of parts of the country. So how's the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from. I hope your weather is not particularly brutal, as some parts of the country are suffering very strong heat waves this Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. In this video, we'll be going over fourth stimulus that raise your benefits up incredible amount, fifth stimulus, and then, of course, fourth stimulus that gives you that monthly stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check updated 2021 goes over the breaking details of calling the vote, the comments from Jalapal, the comments from the president, and the incredible push and start of the vote starting next week. In just less than 24 hours, the excitement brews. We'll be also going over the breaking news as a lot of other legislative efforts are on pat, and it's important to know which ones are this and which ones are not this package. Then we cut to fifth stimulus and the big money that will potentially have not just stimulus checks in there, but a lift of your benefits. And the big money across the board, thousands of dollars of viewers are getting every day, and I got those details as well. This is LLA, your 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoon, just like now. I'm next back with you of Evenings LA right after the show, and boy, that is going to be a major broadcast. So stay with me. And then, coming up after that is Overnight's Crypto, which last night was our most watched show overnight ever, as the cryptocurrency market imploded for some coins, going starkly down. We'll have all the breaking news on that tonight as well. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to be part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. And like the video. It delivers free pizza. I heard that works. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work. Hit the like button and you can, hit it once, you get pepperoni. Hit it 3 times, you get a sausage. Remember, don't hit it twice because that just unlikes the video. You gotta, whatever. Okay, so let's get right into that fourth stimulus check, starting right now. House bill, Senate proposal, monthly checks, all good, but let's compare the differences of how they play out, starting right now. The House bill provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal provides a stimulus check from July to December. Let's compare the monthly payouts. House bill, $1,000 a month after the first month. Senate proposal, unknown monthly, but word on the street is it's this. Yes. $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400, or $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. That's per person. Now, a big question at issue is whether the pandemic's over or not. Some legislators contend it is. If that's the case, the House bill would be reduced to just 1 year of checks, which would be 12 checks, because there's 12 months in a year. Yeah, last time I checked. And that would result in $13,000 under Jalapal's House bill. Let's compare that then to the Senate over 6 months, which is this. There you go. I think you have an opinion. If you're in the live chat just right now, jump into the live chat and vote House or Senate. Which one do you like, House or Senate? Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I think you have an opinion. Boy, viewers are still relatively split on their opinions. So vote right now. I want to see which one you like, House or Senate. Who gets his fourth stimulus check? The Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. Single individuals, 75,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits. The fourth stimulus check is not taxable because it's not income. The fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It does not come in waves because it's not a waivable check. It cannot waive. So if you're at the beach this afternoon trying to cool off and you see the check trying to put some suntan lotion on, say, hey, check, is that SPF 15? Check didn't respond to me. What a rude check. I hope you just burn up. Actually, probably you don't want it to burn. You probably want it to burn in your hands. Anyway, yeah, just a root check. Don't wave at the check. It's not waivable. It can't wave back at you. So there you go. The Democrats represent the vote would be in the month of July. That means you would get the check in the month of July for the month of July, in the month of August for the month of August, and the final vote, July 4th. So there you go. That is your first of three parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. In the second part, we'll be going over what's happening tomorrow, calling the vote, the comments from Jalapa, the comments from the president, and understanding why there's so much other legislation happening tomorrow that I want you to know which is this and which is not that. And that's coming up in the second part. In the third part, we go over tracking the voting process and understanding where the changes will be made throughout the 9 steps. That's coming up in just a second. But first, here is a preview of the second half of this video. This stimulus heats up because of the raising up of your benefits lifetime and the applying of a new benchmark, inflation, which is absolutely going to go high. And because it's going to go high, it's going to lift your benefits up lifetime. The excitement of that and the fifth stimulus check, yes, another stimulus check, is covered in the second half of this video. Stay with me. Boy, a lot of exciting stuff coming up still in the second half of this video. But get a pen and paper ready because I got a lot of money for you. That's what I do on this channel. I get people money. In the spring of last year, EIDL loans were not being paid out, so I stepped in and I helped people save their businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes, getting their EIDL loans approved, $25 million of it. In fall of 2020, we were waiting for second stimulus to pass, just like how we're waiting for fourth stimulus right now, and I helped people get money for rent, utilities, and more. Well, now it's the time to do the same with this. And get that pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, match the host's red shirt because it's Sunday red. I'm not in the U.S. Open golf tournament, and I'm not in Doge. So, yeah, everything is red. You know, red golf Sunday, crashing crypto. It sort of matches. I don't know. So get that red Crayola crown ready or pen and paper because I got a lot of money to get you and stay at the very end of this video. It starts first with some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. I'm excited for you. The rent is a lot of money. It's about $5,000 of rent. Wow, about 4 to 6 months of rent. And Tim and Linda got it recently. So here we go. I'm going to show you where you're going to get it. And each place has different eligibility. So if you get a no, don't worry. Reach out to the next. Here we go. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words that they don't know, like 20 pints or stimulus. They'll be like, 20 pints? Yeah, that's not the channel. That's not here today. Yeah, 500? No, that's just, we don't know that. We're the rent department, sir. So you have to say the correct words. Now, then there's more money. And if you got in a penny from this channel, or 100 pennies, or 100,000 pennies. I got in all of them for the viewers of this channel. Jump in the live chat right now and say what you got because it inspires me, inspires other viewers. One viewer got $5,000 this last week. One viewer last week got $6,000. It's exciting. It's this, and what is this? It's SNAP. It is money for your food. It comes from Department of Agriculture, so reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. It's a lot of money. How much money is it? It's about $15,000, $16,000 a year for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. Very exciting details. That is really wonderful money. And Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom. And Gail got it. I want you to get as well. Eligibility is usually about the same as a stimulus check. So there you go. About $15,000, $16,000 for SNAP. Family 4 in Hawaii. About $5,000 for rent. We're killing it. And only 10 minutes of this video, you're killing it. You're getting this big money, but I got more money for you right now. And it's coming back from your states. It is money coming back from your states for overpayment due to computer error, not your computer, their computer. Windows 98, time to upgrade. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment benefits due to computer error, not your computer, and then asking you to return the money, which you did. Well, the federal government said, no, that is your money to keep, and has now ordered the states to return the money back to you. Yes, one viewer has gotten $5,000 for this money. So where are you getting the money for landing? On the account that you have on file with your state. When? Reach out to your respective state for routing times. And when you call them up to ask for routing times on the payment, make sure that they don't track the check with the same computer that didn't work last time. Yeah. Time to upgrades from Windows 98. It's just, at least Windows Vista. So now let's turn to the next and final pot of money, and people keep on getting it. Cod got it. Margaret got it. Viewers keep on getting it. If you got it, jump in the live chat. It's money back from IRS. It is a lot of money. It is the money you paid on the unemployment assistance. Let's go over how much, where, when, and how to track it starting right now. First, how much? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment assistance. You paid $5,000 total tax bill, of which $4,000 was your taxes to IRS on that 2020 unemployment. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, if that was on the tax return, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. And can you track it? Yes. About 70% of the time you can track it. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password. And in there, you will see, about 70% of the time, the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, the final round of the leaderboard at the U.S. Open, what you ordered for enchiladas yesterday, and the tax refund you are getting from IRS in the mail or direct deposit. And there you go. What's more wonderful than that? The second of your 3 parts of your 4th stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. Well, the excitement is starting next week. And here's what you need to know. The reconciliation process for the 4th stimulus starts the voting on Monday. The recon has already been underway for several weeks. Now, one of the new things I want to tell you on this afternoon's broadcast, starting right now for the first time ever, is that next week, the president has literally 2 other legislative items that are heating up in Washington. I don't want you to get confused by them because they are literally all over the map of coverage in news. They are the voting rights, and there is another reform bill that they're doing. And the president actually also has a budget bill. So there's a lot of other bills that are being talked about in the press. I don't want you to get confused about them. In fact, one of the ones for voting rights talks about, is Joe Manchin on, is Joe Manchin off? It's different than this. So I don't want you to hear those and think, oh, that's this one? It's that one? It's confusing. I know it is. So let me go to the exciting details. The voting starting this coming week. The recon is already underway. The recon will end by July 4th, and the recon will end with a passage. Jalapal spoke out on Friday going into the weekend about why this is just getting wonderful. Let me explain her comments, the other progressives' comments, and then let me first tell you the comments and then explain them, because they are a little bit confusing because they're a double negative. Great grammar, yeah. Jalapal said that the White House has not in any way told me not to do what us progressives are doing. Yeah, double negative. But it's great news. Let me explain it to you in a second. Brian Schatz, Democrat out of Hawaii, also progressive, says the White House has repeatedly reassured him that the White House considered the progressive priorities the White House's own priorities. All right, let me explain the wonderful news of what that means. For stimulus, infrastructure has 2 progressive policies in there that the president wants and will go to the mat over. Remember, the president only proposes what he wants in legislation. He doesn't write the legislation. So the president has proposed what he wants in there. And two of the things that he is adamant will go to the mat, will veto over if they're not in there, are both progressive policies. They are climate and they are the CARES economy, which refers to seniors and medical assistance. So he's ready to go to the mat about them. Well, he doesn't have to. Why? Because the progressives are putting them in there. Those two progressive policies the president wants, climate and the CARES economy, the progressives are putting them in there and watching them carefully and making sure they get to the finish line for the president, which is making the president a very, very happy camper. To which the president is on his patting of their back, saying, I'm loving what you're doing, progressives. Keep on doing what you're doing and do whatever else you want to do in addition to that, which is the progressives' own additional policy of the monthly stimulus checks. The president has two progressive policies, climate and the CARES economy. The progressives have their additional progressive policy of stimulus checks. They're working hand in hand by patting each other's back through the finish line. Great news. So how did we get to this great point? We got to this great point the Friday before Memorial Day weekend when Schumer said three things. One, we're calling the vote. Two, the vote will be done by July 4th. Three, and we'll finish with a passage. Now, how did we get to that great spot? From Jalapal again. Jalapal had Rich and Schumer a letter saying, hi, Chuck. Are you calling the vote? You need to call the vote. Well, we are calling the vote now. But what was better about that letter was it was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the House Democrats, 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, we want monthly stimulus checks in that fourth stimulus package, and we're going to put it in there. Wow. Can we get better than that? We can. When 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter about a week ago saying, Mr. President, when we write the fourth stimulus, we're going to be writing monthly stimulus checks in there for you. Who are these people to say that? What do they do for a living? Who are you? These are the people who wrote your first stimulus check. They wrote your second stimulus check. They wrote your third stimulus check. And now they're what? They are now marking up the bill, they say, and they claim they're writing 4 stimulus checks in there. Wow. That is wonderful news. Are they writing a 5th stimulus check? They are. And that's coming up in the second half of this video. Wow, now that is wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As the president, a week ago yesterday, did it. Biden did it. He went overseas and got leaders of foreign countries to anchor the 4th stimulus right to the edge of the finish line by putting in international agreement, a raising up of the global minimum corporate tax rate now before 4th stimulus. Let me explain what this means and how it works for you and why it's wonderful news. It started a recent Tuesday ago when the president did something complicated. I said, hey, that's complicated. I need to slow it down. So let me slow it down for you right now. 4th stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. The U.S. corporate tax rate concerned the president, however, with him saying that if I raise the U.S. corporate tax rate, I'm worried businesses may leave the United States and go to another country where the rate is lower. To which he reached out to those lower rate countries and said, hey, let's all raise our rates at the same time. And they said yes. That was then a tentative yes, to which he then reached out to his legislators that Tuesday afternoon and said, well, this is going pretty well. Around the holidays, when we're swapping caramel popcorn for each other, I like the one that's super sticky. When we swap it, can we also get those G7 countries to sign on the dotted line around December? And once they do, then I'll remove provisions for 4th stimulus no longer needed. Well, then he surprised us. A week ago yesterday, the president went overseas and got those G7 countries to sign on the dotted line now. Not in December, but now, before 4th stimulus is passed, to anchor 4th stimulus right to the edge of the finish line. Because now the provisions are no longer needed in 4th stimulus because they're in the international agreement, making it easier for the Democrat caucus to pass the 4th stimulus by recon. That is wonderful news, as Biden has done it. And boy, we get even better exciting news in the third part of this 4th stimulus check update coming up after this commercial break with the exciting details about a 5th stimulus check and the raise up of benefits and upwards of potentially 10% lifetime. Wow, that's coming up in the second half of this video. But first, something even better than that, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or similar, reach out to the volunteers. They embody the true Purple Power spirit. Viewers helping viewers. How do you find them? Go to the description of this video. open the description of this video. You'll see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of a house is a link to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. Go to the community page. You'll see a series of pictures of cats. Lower up below the cats are the volunteers. Reach out to them. They'll help you with rent, utilities, mortgage, internet, and also SNAP. They can't take out your garbage. They can't get your dry cleaning. They can't make you a tostada. And they can't give you directions to Mitch's Lobster Fest. So don't ask them for those other things. But other than that, they are absolutely wonderful. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now on a big afternoons LA. I'm really excited for you on a big day where there's a lot of things happening with fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus, a lot of breaking news, and we're going to get to it right now. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. It'll deliver you greater weather. It'll get rid of the heat wave. Just like the video. It apparently works. And also consider becoming a member. It's coming up right after this video is Evenings LA. So stay here with this video. It'll automatically take you to Evenings LA right after this video is over. Stay with it. And then Evenings LA starts about an hour and a half thereafter. Boy, there's a lot of exciting details about fifth stimulus. Let's get to the details starting right now. First, a fifth stimulus check? Yes. So the fifth stimulus check heats up this fall with the vote going out of the door about October, November-ish. And then the fifth stimulus check for January-ish. So that's important to know. Fourth stimulus, 2021. Fifth stimulus, 2022. If you've been with this channel for a while, I'm always ahead of the ball. I don't do things after the fact. So people may say, why are you talking about fifth stimulus? We're still on third stimulus and then fourth. I talk about things way in advance so you're prepared ahead of time so you know the stages. Next, fifth stimulus is heating up with incredible news that the president's dedicating $1 billion in his budget bill, which is yet another bill, not this one, another bill, in his budget bill for the administration of your checks to the Social Security Administration. He's ramping up processes as payroll computer systems to ensure that checks get to you on time, not the debacle of earlier this year. So you saw about the third stimulus check. Direct Express by Comerica does not have my stimulus check, says it's going to come in 10 years from now. We're getting rid of that. So this is to ensure that your fourth stimulus checks come on time, your fifth stimulus checks come on time, and your benefit checks come on time. And then tomorrow, tomorrow is going to be day 2 of Wall Street's reaction to that guy from St. Louis. What happened? Well, Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, on Wednesday, spoke about interest rates, saying that 2 interest rate spikes will come in 2023. He's not going to raise interest rates now. He thinks the inflation is fine. And then he thinks that that commodities will come down, and they have come down. But on Friday, last Friday, 2 days later, a person below him, the Fed chair out of St. Louis, said, oh, well, I think those interest rate spikes are coming next year. What? That's not what Jay said. And then he says inflation is red hot. What? That's not what Jay said. So tomorrow, Monday, you're going to see the second day of a reaction by Wall Street to that Fed chair out of St. Louis's comments. There's a lot of talk. This is a big, big, big issue. And this is huge for your fifth stimulus because your fifth stimulus is tied to a new benchmark, inflation. Here's where we're currently looking like. 4% inflation potentially right now, going up to a peak about 10% and then coming back down. That peak is called temporary or transitory. It's all gauged because the consumer price index and producer price index number released in the last 7 days, red hot, too hot. And so they say inflation is getting really hot. Well, let's go over how this applies for your fifth stimulus. It's wonderful news. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall by doing a series of things. First thing is raising your benefits, then applying that inflation benchmark, removing the asset cap, removing the income cap, and removing the marriage penalty. Okay, let's go over how this works. First, they're going to raise up your benefits. Who's you? You. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits, your benefits are going to be raised up one time. Then they're going to apply the benchmark every December for next year's benefits. This year, it would be for inflation. Well, here you go. They raise your benefits up. But as this inflation rate's going up, you have to hope it hits that spike right when they raise your benefits, when they do the benchmark. Because if it hits at the same time, for example, if it's 10% right when they're applying the benchmark, then your benefits would raise up 10%, not just next year. Lifetime. This is huge because inflation is going through the roof and it's expected to go through the roof about the time that they're applying the first benchmark. This is huge because it will raise your benefits up a lifetime. Benefits always step up. They never step down. This blows away anything from Elizabeth Warren for SS200. So never, ever, ever again ask about SS200. This is thousands of dollars or more money a lifetime than SS200 was to ever give you. This is categorically astronomical more money. Then they're going to apply a removal of the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. It's going to go away. You'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the income exclusion that prevents you from working. Now you'll be able to work and stay on benefits, and they're going to end the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. Viewers like Sandy and Rob will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is your fifth stimulus check update of 2021. But boy, in a 30-minute video or this extended afternoon's broadcast, which is going a little bit longer because so much breaking news, it's important to know I can't cover everything that's in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus in a given video. So it's important to consider becoming a member. Members are delivered from me daily, a breakdown of all the money you can get under third stimulus and all the money proposed for you under fourth and fifth stimulus. Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. When I said third stimulus was passing, I wasn't joking. When I said it passed, I said you're going to get a lot more than a $1,400 stimulus check, and viewers have. As you've seen, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Viewers continue to get big racks of money. So now's your opportunity. Subscribe by consider becoming a member and get delivered from me daily via the community page a breakdown of everything in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. The membership link is in the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. All right, let's get back to fourth stimulus with our final update for next week. Boy, as you heard earlier in this video, it's important to understand that next week the president is back in town. He has been out of town for a week, and he is going to be red hot with several legislative efforts on pat. There is one for voting rights, there is this one, and there's another one. Now, I know exactly what people are going to say in the comments. Well, he's going to put us last, he's going to do the other thing first. No. Here's something you're going to hear for the very first time on Afternoons LA today. This is going to give the president more oomph to do this recon and do it well and get it done with. Why? Because the voting rights is a very important provision. It's a very important bill, and it's going to die because it's not being done by recon. And he's going to see voting rights die. He does not have the votes for it. The Republicans are going to filibuster, and it's going to die. And this one is going to be the success story because it's going by recon. So what's important to understand is you are with the one that's the recon. The other one, the voting rights thing that they're going to try to finish next week, is going to die because they're not going to have Republican votes for it. The Republicans are going to filibuster it. So let's go over 4 things you need to know going into this next week. First, we're going to go over my personal message. Second, we're going to go over the voting process. Number 3, we're going to go over fake narrative. And number 4, we're going to go over purple power push. All right, my personal message next week is going to be, it's going to be very a confusing, messy, and convoluted week. Why? Because I just told you, we got voting rights over here. We got this recon over here. You're going to have people saying that they're trying to do a bipartisan recon, a bipartisan infrastructure when there is no bipartisan infrastructure. They're going to say they're not doing recon. They are doing. There's going to be a lot of messiness. So keep your eyes straight forward on this one. And I don't want you to get confused by anything. Next, this is not the Stimulus Psychic Network. You should never be the Stimulus Psychic Reader either. So anyone saying, what do you think? I predict. I don't predict. I do predict. I don't predict. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that because these are legislators. Moreover, don't ever be jumping in the comments if you're not a subscriber or not a member saying, I heard from my sister's brother that there's not. Cut, delete. I mean, really, no one wants to hear what you heard from the water cooler or what you heard from the front porch, because there's a pen, and that pen is being used as they mark up the bill. What does mark up the bill mean? The legislators have a draft of the bill in their hand, and they've indicated to us what's going to be in the bill. But they also have that pen, and the pen can at any time write in something else or erase something else out. So it's important to understand that you need to be on point and focus on the 9 steps. Let's go to those 9 steps. Step 1 is the procedural start of the bill. Step 1 is the House Subcommittee votes on the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs the procedural bill into law. At that point, the tow truck is passed over the finish line. Time to go do the tow hitch. Steps 5, 7, and 8 are the critical steps because those are the steps at which they could still have that pen and still be using the ink or turning it around and using the eraser. Step 5, the House Subcommittee that wants and has promised to put monthly stimulus checks in there calls it for a vote, the substantive bill. There will either be stimulus checks in there or there won't. The floor then gets the vote on the House, and then we go to steps 7 and 8. Perhaps the most critical 2 steps of the entire 9 steps. Why? It's the 2-day vote-a-rama in the Senate. At that point, the senators can amend whatever they got from the House. 3 possibilities. 1, the House did not put stimulus checks in there. The senators can put them in there. Possibility number 2, the House puts stimulus checks in there. The senators can leave it alone. They like it. Or possibility 3, the House puts stimulus checks in there and the senators don't like something about it. They want to amend it. That's possibility 3. Final step, the president calls it to a vote. All right, fake narratives. Fake narratives all over the place. And here's what you need to know. And you're hearing this for the first time on Afternoons LA. Some of the fake narratives are no fault of the reporter. I turned on one of the number 3 networks this morning, and they literally had the wrong story. I mean, they literally had the wrong story about what's happening for stimulus. It's no fault of their own because it's getting convoluted. And I want you to know that even if you pick up a major number 3 network, you may see incorrect reporting because it's just all over the place. It's just, the reason why it's happening is because you have Democrats saying incorrect things and you have Republicans confusing people, and then you have other stuff. Here's an example. You have Democrats on Friday who are doing fake narratives of saying, unless my turnip bill and Brussels sprouts provision is in there, I'm voting against the bill. And then a number three network's going to run that story. Well, the guy said he wants his Brussels sprouts, and if he doesn't have his Brussels sprouts, he's voting against it. But they don't tell you that the guy said that the last three times and has folded like a lawn chair the last three times. Bernie, so not to say that Bernie's done this week, but this is an example. Bernie last year for second stimulus or third stimulus said he was going to hold it up unless he had a minimum wage in there. He didn't, and he voted in favor of it. So that's what they do. They say that, and then a major network will run the story and make it sound like, "Oh, you're not getting it because he said he's holding it up for minimum wage under third stimulus. You're not getting it." And then they fold like a lawn chair and they vote in favor of it. So there's that type of fake narrative you're going to see where you don't think it's a fake narrative. It sounds like it's legit because they're citing someone and then citing another person. But what they're not telling you is the whole story, that person never follows through, folds like a lawn chair. You also have conservative media that is going to run fake narratives because they've done it on the second and third stimulus before. What have they always done? They've always done the Joe Manchin story, which is always a wrong story. Joe Manchin's holding up the whole process, is not going to approve it, and you're not going to get anything, and Biden's going to lose, and Trump is going to win. That's a story they run. It just sort of starts with Joe Manchin and then ends with a new president. It's just a story they run. No disrespect to them. It's just a wrong story because Joe Manchin's not doing that. Joe Manchin's already said he is voting in favor of the provision. So, and finally, there is always the confusion of this sort of two-path discussion. This two-path discussion of it's both recon and it's both bipartisan. I got to tell you, personal message, even though I was earlier in the video, that's the president's fault. He should have never allowed this even 1 minute of saying there's both a bipartisan and there's both a recon path. Well, when did the bipartisan path stop? And then start up, and then stop, and then start up. He's made it confusing by making the story hard to report on, and not hard for me to report on, but hard for other people to report on. The bipartisan effort has stopped, but he didn't make it clear that it stopped. He made that statement, "We're calling the recon vote. I don't want to hear any more of this." And then sure enough, guess who's on broadcast media this morning? Guess who's on broadcast media? I did not even turn on him. I didn't want to hear him. Ron Portman. I mean, the guy is out the door. He's right out the door, and he's trying to act like he's negotiating with the president. He's not even negotiating with anyone. He's the guy who didn't want to give you a stimulus check ever. He wanted to bankrupt you in 2020. You had lost your home, your business, and everything, and he said, "Get back to work. You're lazy." And the pandemic is ravaging America in July of 2020. He said, "You need to get back to work." So this is not a good guy. And so the president should have stopped this a long time ago. But by not really cracking the whip as much as viewers would have liked, I've seen your comments. You want him to be a little bit more aggressive on this. If he had cracked the whip more on this, he would have stopped this clutter of discussion that shouldn't be going on. And so finally, it's important to know that all this clutter is going to continue next week. This is why I tell you good and bad, so you know this clutter, which is not bad, it's just clutter, and you can sort of distance yourself from it. Finally, Purple Power Push. There's one thing you're doing really well, and it's pushing. Remember, these legislators are still making changes. We have three things on this channel: not bill yet, not law yet, and don't it. It's not bill yet. It's not law yet. So the very last second, you need to keep on pushing down to that very last second. Go on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram. Tag your Democratic House, Democratic Center, progressives, as many progressives as you can. Their individual accounts, their caucus accounts, like the House progressives, the Senate progressives. And then if you don't use social media, pick up the phone and call them. The old-fashioned way. It really works. Speak to the staffers in D.C. They don't have 300-person staffs. They have 50, 20, 30-person staffs. Express to them why you need stimulus. And if you don't know why you need stimulus, then look at the news from Thursday. The new jobless claims number came out. It was bad. These are people who were never unemployed during the pandemic ever, and the number went up. It shot up dramatically, even where? Here in California. where we're reopened. Even with us reopening, people lost their jobs. That's why people need stimulus. And with that, thank you for joining me. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to evenings Lalate right after this video ends in about 6 seconds. And with that, make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. I want you part of this discussion. I want you part of this push. And the push is underway, more so even starting tomorrow. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon. I hope the weather is better where you are. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay Lalate for more.